What's going on, people? This is John O'Pimney back with another sports reaction. But before the start of the video, just remember to like and subscribe so we can continue to get your favorite content about the Bears from me, John O'Pimney. Alright, now time to break down the Tennessee Titans versus the Chicago Bears, both coming off disappointing losses last week, both having a embarrassing loss and a very close loss game in between. Bears losing to the Rams, and then right after that the Saints, and the Titans losing a very close game to the Steelers, and then getting spanked by the Cincinnati Bengals. Now they're both seeking redemption in this game, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come down to the wire between these teams, just looking for redemption. The Bears looking better and better after that just horrible loss against the Rams, and it seemed more and more like the Tennessee Titans are starting to trend down so far right now. But now to start the breakdown of each team, starting with the Bears. Of the breakdown, we have Nick Foles, who has completed 151 out of 233 passes. He has 1,411 passing yards. He has completed 64.8% of his passes. He has 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I just really hope that he can really get it together, because right now, of course, everyone that was clamoring for Mitchell Trubisky, now he's hurt. He might have structural damage in his throwing shoulder, so it doesn't even seem like he's going to even play for the rest of the season. So it's going to seem like it's going to be Nick Foles and Tyler Bray from here on out. Up next, you have David Montgomery, who has 117 carries for 442 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, and still only 1 rushing touchdown. I just really wish that the Bears could find a way to just get him the ball in multiple ways throughout the game, because the offensive line can't block up the middle. It seems like they're having a very hard time blocking outside. So it's best that you try to run it as many quick screens, have him in the slot or something, because it seems like he really just can't get the ball up the middle, and it seems like he's going to rush for even less yards this year than he rushed for last year. And last year, offensive line was just outright terrible, and it seems like they're just playing so much worse now. But now the next impact player for the Bears is wide receiver Allen Robinson, who will be an impact player basically for every game of the season, because he is the best wide receiver for the Bears. And so far, he has 50 receptions for 631 yards. He is averaging 12.6 yards per catch, and he has 3 receiving touchdowns so far on the season. Also, the next impact player who is definitely just having an impact more and more and more, and that is Darnell Mooney, who has 26 receptions for 305 yards. He is averaging 11.7 yards per catch, and he has 2 receiving touchdowns. And the man also that needs to definitely have a big game, that I think is going to have a big impact in this game, and that is Jimmy Graham. He's starting to trend down a little bit more recently, but I think he's going to trend right back up. And so far he has 29 receptions for 247 yards. He is averaging 8.5 yards per catch, and he has 4 touchdowns that also came in the red zone. And now switching over to the defense, the 3 impact players for the Bears defense that will definitely have to have a huge impact in order for the Bears to dominate this game. And that is Roquan Smith, who has 71 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 5 pass deflections, and 1 forced fumble. Now, it's been a lot of missed tackling, a lot of miscues so far this season, especially over the last 3 or 4 games. It's just been trending more and more up, and it's starting to reach its breaking point. And hopefully the Bears can find a way to stop a dominating player like Derrick Henry, when no one has been able to really stop him so far this season. So this is a very tough task for the Bears, and let's hope that they can find a way to get it together. And the next impact player for the Bears is also the next middle linebacker, and that's Danny Trevathan, who has 50 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and only 1 pass deflection. Now, so far this season, he's been slowly but surely trending back up, looking a little bit more like his former self over the years. But it has been a very big drop off, and it seemed like the Bears probably should have kept one of the other linebackers, Nick Wachowski, or somebody else who just had a high motor just like him, but found the way to actually stay healthy. But hopefully he can get it together and help Roquan Smith against Derrick Henry in the running game. And also the last impact player for the Bears who is definitely gonna play well, that needs to play well, is Kyle Fuller, who has 31 tackles, 6 pass deflections, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. Now the Tennessee Titans, they are one of the most, if not the most, pass happy teams. When I say pass happy, I mean off the play action. The only team that possibly runs it more than them, and the Bears already played them, and that is the LA Rams. So they're going to use a lot of play action. They don't have the type of play calling that the Rams have, but they definitely run a lot of play action, and they spread that ball around a lot. So the Bears defense definitely going to have to pick up on that if they stand to have a chance against this mighty Tennessee Titans team, despite the fact that they, just like the Bears, have lost their last 2 games. And also just talking about the team in general, going to start now with their full breakdown of their 5 offensive impact players and their 3 impact players for the defense. And of course, starting off is Ryan Tannehill, who has completed 157 passes for 230 out of 233, and he is completing 67.4% of his passes for 1,823 yards, 17 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. His team does not turn the ball over that much at all, and the Bears is one of those teams that tend to cause takeaways. Now, which Bears team will show up, that will dictate exactly what we're going to get in this type of game, where it can either turn into a blowout like the experts expect it to be, at least a 6-point game, because the Tennessee Titans is favored by 6 points against the Bears in this game. So if the Bears defense show up and the offense at least can put up some type of points, then maybe then this team can be actually a good game. But also, back to the breakdown, the impact player for the Tennessee Titans, who I just talked about, is Derrick Henry. He has 161 carries for 775 rushing yards so far this season, leading the NFL in rushing. He also is averaging 4.8 yards per carry, and he already has 8 rushing touchdowns. Just a man out there just running amongst boys. Josh Norman already seen exactly what happened. Everyone's seen that all over the world. He is a very hard runner, deceptively fast. So the Bears are definitely going to have to get at him as quickly as possible if they expect any type of chance to victory. And now going to their wide receivers. It is Corey Davis that is another impact player for them. He has 29 receptions, 369 yards. He is averaging 12.7 yards per catch. He also has 3 receiving touchdowns. Now, he might not have a lot of yards, he might not have a lot of catches, but he is a dominating player, and they spread the ball around to everyone. Another player that they spread the ball around to, which is another impact player as well, is wide receiver A.J. Brown, who has 27 receptions, 356 yards. He is averaging 13.2 yards per catch, and he has 5 receiving touchdowns. Like I said before, they spread the ball out, and they like to get the ball to everybody, and that's what makes this offense so dangerous. And the last impact player for their offense is the tight end Jonnu Smith, who has 22 receptions for 272 yards. He is averaging 12.4 yards per catch, and he has 5 touchdowns. Yet again, They spread that ball around. You don't know who they're going to get the ball to. Because they do that, that's what makes this offense so dynamic, even though the play call is very simplistic. That they know how to attack every team, and they just know how to make it work. It's just up to the next team to try to stop Derrick Henry, which is the whole magic for the Tennessee Titans as a whole in general. And now we're switching over to the defensive side of the football, the 3 impact players for the Tennessee Titans. Now, I can easily just say the defensive line and just name every defensive player for the defense, say that will be the impact players of the game, because the offensive line of the Bears is really that bad, and they're just facing more and more injuries. But I think the Bears will find a way to get Nick Foles the ball enough at times to be able to get the ball down the field. So that's why I say these guys will be the big-time impact players for the Tennessee Titans. And one of them is the linebacker James Brown, who has 55 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 6 pass deflections, and an interception. He is a ball-hawking tackler. He is always in almost every play for that defense, and he just knows how to get to the ball. Very intelligent player, and he can cover, he can run stuff, he can do it all. He is just one of those players that just know how to make a huge impact, and the Bears definitely going to have to look for him and try to spread the ball around and have him run sideline to sideline to try to tire down that defense. And the next impact player is Malcolm Butler, who has 49 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection, and 2 interceptions. He is also a very good cover man, excellent open field tackler. Most likely he's going to be matched up with Allen Robinson majority of the day. So if the Bears can find a way to get Allen Robinson the ball, get the tight ends the ball, open up windows for everybody else, they can make Malcolm Butler ineffective, and then eventually you can try to hit him over the top. But if you do try to hit him over the top, then you have another impact player that can easily just stop that. And that is safety Kenny Vaccaro, who has 42 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for a loss, 4 pass deflections. He does not have an interception yet this season, but with Nick Foles throwing the ball up in the air like he does, and also, like I said before, trying to feed Allen Robinson the ball downfield, he can wind up having an interception in this next game, because he is really just that good. But with that being said, I just think that the Bears somehow get this victory and steal this victory against the Tennessee Titans, and they win this game, and they actually probably wind up putting up the season high 35-28 over the Tennessee Titans. Have an offensive explosion against this team. Like I said before, the Tennessee Titans defense is starting to is just continuously trending down, and the Bears offense is actually starting to trend back up, despite the fact that they're not able to run the football consistently and not able to protect Nick Foles consistently. Yes, you could say the New Orleans Saints defense was just outright trash. That's the reason why the Bears was at least able to put up 23 points. But the Tennessee Titans allowed 31 points to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, you could say Joe Burrow is just that good. Yes, he really is. But at the same time, you allowed 31 points to the Cincinnati Bengals, who now only won, their second or third game of the season, and you were shut down to 20 points, which means they was able to hold and contain Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry is the number one ingredient that allows that team to really function. So I'm picking the Bears to win this game yet again, 35-28, and that's what it is for the Bears. But this is John O'Pimney back with another sports reaction. Once again, talking about Chicago Bears taking on the Tennessee Titans. All right, people. Peace out.